Welcome to the Grit Factor Podcast. I'm Drew Powell, and here we explore what it takes to succeed through the lens of guts, resilience, integrity, and tenacity. These are the values that drive high-performing leaders and shape the culture at the Insurance Group of America. Each episode will sit down with industry trailblazers, IGA team members, and inspiring professionals who have embraced grit to overcome challenges, seize opportunities, and create meaningful impact. Whether you're considering joining IGA or simply looking for the tools to take your career to the next level, you're in the right place. So buckle up. It's time to discover the Grit Factor. Paul Fleming, welcome to the Grit Factor Podcast, man.
Hey, thank you. Nice to be here.
Absolutely. So Jamie said you got to talk to Paul, and here's how he introduced you, because we barely just met, like right before we started this. Like we've said 2 sentences to one another. He said, you guys are going to really hit it off because you both are degenerates like me. That was how he introduced her.
He's so kind. He has such nice things to say about the people in his life, huh?
And I was like, that's fair. That's fair. This is Paul's my people. I was like, I like this. But dude, grateful to have you on, man. You know, I will say Jamie did follow up with saying like that you're just a stud in the insurance and sales space, and how fortunate we were at IGA to have you on the team. And you know, if you know Jamie, that's not empty flattery. Like, you know, he's not just saying that, but I'm excited to talk to you because you are someone who's come from a lot of experience. You've worked in a lot of companies, some real big companies, you know, candidly, some companies that are 5 times our size. And so, yeah, it's just good to kind of get your perspective on what life is like at IGA. So I know he thinks really highly of you, man. So it's good to have you on.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I mean, he's embellishing a little bit, but that's okay. I'll take the compliment.
Fair enough.
Cool.
Let's just start with your story, man. I'd love to hear just a little bit of your background and what got you into the insurance industry.
Yeah. So, you know, look, like most people, you either end up in insurance by accident or you've got family in it. And for me, it was both of those. So my grandfather and my dad were both in the independent agency business. I didn't really have any plans or expectations of ending up in the business. But I did. My dad sold his agency, and the group that bought his agency, I met with the guy that put that all together when I was shortly out of college, not in terms of looking for a job there, but he knew a lot of people. You know, he had a big network. I was meeting with him from a networking perspective. Could maybe recommend some people I should talk to, etc. And I guess little did I know it ended up being a job interview, because then the event ended up offering me a job, you know, to go work there. So that's how I ended up in the business. Started as a producer, you know, selling commercial property and casualty and employee benefits.
Gotcha.
Of course, that was all the way back in 2001, and back then, at least, yeah, a lot of agencies didn't have much in the way of training.
Right.
And you got a book to read and get licensed, and you got a phone book, which, you know, those actually existed back then. And go call.
Go get after it.
Go get after it. Yeah.
That was a good. I'm sure you've seen so much change, man, in the industry since you've been in it. So help me do the math on that. How many years is that you've been in this industry?
25 years.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, you got a baby face, man. Doesn't look like you've been doing it that long.
Yeah, I guess I just got lucky there.
That's funny. So just kind of jumping ahead here. So you end up becoming the chief sales officer. Is that right?
Yeah. So look, this is my second stop, you know, in the industry. So I only worked at one place, the place where prior to IGA, where I started out of college. And as I mentioned, was a producer, first 12, you know, or so years there. And then I moved into a sales management role. And then I moved into an agency acquisition role. So my job as part of that was going out and prospecting for agencies, and convincing them to sell to us. And you're evaluating their financials, trying to piece the deals together, etc.
Mhm.
And then my last 3 or 4 years there was in the chief sales officer role before coming to IGA.
So, and if you don't mind me asking this gets in your business a little bit, but you're chief sales officer at a company 5 times the size of IGA. From the outside looking in, it would seem like an unusual move, right? Why leave this big company like that to go to, and not that we're small potatoes, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you're going from 5 times. Someone on the outside might be like, that doesn't seem like a lateral move for you. What was it that compelled you to say IGA is where I want to spend, or like you said, your second stop? That's kind of a big deal. This is your only other place that you've worked. What compelled you to do that?
Yeah. So and look, it is, whether it's outside looking in or otherwise. Yeah, it is an unusual move,
Right.
especially on the surface. So a lot of factors. I would say the biggest factor is, as my role evolved there, and as the agency continued to grow, the simplest way I put it is I moved out of the people business into the paper business.
Mm,
That didn't fit me.
mm,
Uh, and so I'll expand on that a little bit more. Um, when I was, when you're in sales role, that's people business. You're interacting with people all day, every day.
right.
Um, the acquisitions piece, that, I probably maybe knew it intuitively at the time, but it really hit me when I was out of that, and was just in the, sales officer role. Acquisitions was just another form of sales.
Mm,
You know, instead of going out and acquiring clients and prospecting for, businesses, you're prospecting for agencies, and you're convincing them to sell their agency to you, their life's work to you, and trust their legacy with,
yeah.
you. Um,
That's a bigger sales pitch, right, than anything else. I mean, that's a big deal for people.
right. But it was invigorating. It was
Mm,
fun. I really enjoyed it. And the agency where I worked before, when I started there, it was probably roughly about the size that IGA is now. And that agency grew over time. And um, as it grew and my role grew within the agency, it- you know, as agencies grow, they can become more layered, less
mhm.
nimble, more bureaucratic. It's kind of the nature of the beast a lot of times.
Right, the
And
machine just gets bigger, right?
the machine gets bigger.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, it just, what I realized is I wasn't enjoying myself. It was not fun for me anymore. Um, Look, it wasn't an overnight decision. It obviously takes a lot of, reflection, but, I look back on when I was happiest,
Mhm.
you know, there, and that's when I was, like I say, in the people business, whether it was in traditional insurance sales or whether on the agency acquisition side. And so I knew I wanted to get back into that
Yeah.
part of the business.
Oh, it makes total sense. Alright, so I'll say it so you don't have to, but when you left your former company, everyone wanted you. You had choices, you coulda went anywhere, and I know you're a humble dude, I'm just gonna say you 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 coulda went just about anywhere based on your leadership, your record, your sales experience, everything, you kinda checked all the boxes. What made IGA stand out to you in your search?
So a few different things. One, I was attracted to the idea of going to an agency the size of IGA
Mhm.
versus one the size of the agency I left, or even bigger. As I mentioned, where I started, it was about the size of IGA, and that ride up is a lot of fun, and being a
Mhm.
part of that growth is a lot of fun. Um, Additionally, IGA, yes, 5 times smaller, or the agency I left was 5 times larger, but IGA is still big enough
Yeah.
that you got the breadth of insurance companies you need, to be competitive in the marketplace. You've got the personnel and the structure and support in place. to be, very successful. So to me, it was kind of that happy medium in terms of an agency size, not too small, um, but big enough to support. But what I would say most importantly was IGA in 10 years, which is a short amount of time,
Yeah.
got to the size that it is. And that's unheard of. And I'm like, man, there is something special there. They have got something figured out. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah, relatively
it's
young
unheard of.
company in terms of the industry. I mean, 10 years is nothing, and to be where it's at, I mean, it's kinda crazy.
Absolutely. I mean, not to get down in the weeds and statistics, but there's about 36,000 independent agencies in the country.
Mhm.
IBA is in the top 2%.
I
After
mean, what do
being in
you
business 10 years, 10 years.
that's nuts, dude. And what do you attribute that to? I mean, what if in because you've been around the block, this isn't your first and it's kinda why I wanna talk to you because 'cause we've got some great young producers, we talked to them, and they're crushing it, doing great. We had them on the podcast last, but you've been around, and you've seen ups and downs, you've seen companies come and go and all that stuff. What is there a special sauce that's making this thing go?
Um, some, somewhat, yes, and I don't want to discount that because the IGA sales process is unique. Um, so that's a part of it for sure. Um, but it's the people. At the end of the day, like you can have all the best strategies and processes in the world you want, but if you don't have the right people and the right talent to execute it, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
that's so true.
Um, you know, and look, Jamie's a dynamic leader.
Mhm.
There's no doubt about it. And he's a hard driver and he tends to attract people like that.
Mhm.
He has an eye for identifying those people and those people tend to be attracted to him.
Yeah. Well, I'll go there just because you brought it up. I don't wanna try to get you fired, but you famously coined the phrase, you said Jamie No is a lunatic. That's your line. So what did you mean by that, and why did it actually inspire confidence in you instead of hesitation? And that's not the full version. You can say the full phrase if
Yeah,
you want. You've got permission.
yeah. But I do. I did, and I was talking to him when I said this. I said it right to him. I said, "You are a highly functioning fucking lunatic," and
I
I
love
meant it as a compliment, and he took it as such.
Oh, I
He
love he
said,
loved it. Yeah.
"Yeah," he's like, "Man, that's the sweetest thing you've ever said to me."
That's so funny. But yeah, so for you, when you think about that and you say that, and when you said it, you meant it as a compliment. You meant it as a good thing. Why does that actually inspire confidence in you, not hesitate? Some people might hear that and be like, "Man, I'm hesitant to work there." For you, you're like, "Let's go. This is my guy."
Because he is all in. He is fully committed
Yeah.
to whatever it is. I mean, to a level that most people they just can't bring themselves to commit to that extreme. And
Yeah.
and that's why not the only reason, but that's a big part of why the agency has been able to grow so quickly and while it will continue to grow so
Yeah.
quickly. He is at his best when it's most chaotic,
Mhm.
when the more risk, the more financial risk, the more irons in the fire. That's when he thrives. That's when he's the most productive. And that's when he brings the best out of the people around him.
Yeah. Well, and it's a big reason why we do this podcast is because, you know, Jamie's been clear that the podcast, the company is not about him. It's about his teams, whatever else. But at the same time, a lot of the culture has been built, and like you said, has attracted similar people like that, right? So the culture of IGA is very unique in that regard. And a lot of reason why we do this podcast, it's for the culture, for cultural reasons, because in my limited experience, there's certain personalities and people that are going to really thrive and crush it, and this opportunity is going to change their life. There's
Absolutely.
also on the other side of things, it'll crush them if they don't have the right mentality, and that's why we call it the grit factor, and our values are based around grit because you're just not gonna win here if you don't have a certain personality. It doesn't necessarily mean it's right or wrong. There's other places doing it. It doesn't have to be a right or wrong thing. It's just a matter of this is who we are, why you're thriving and successful here, and why others. It has a lot to do with that kind of thriving in chaos. You know, there's systems, there's structure. I mean, listen, I've got under the hood a little bit of IGA, and there's a lot of this company is an absolutely just well-oiled machine when it comes to training and all that kind of stuff. But there's
Yes,
also the risk too. It's like a balance of the 2, right?
absolutely. And look, I'll tell you a quick. I don't know if Jamie told you how we met,
No.
but I mean, this kind of is him in a nutshell, and what most other agency owners would consider crazy or lunatic. So we were both on an insurance company trip, an insurance company sponsored trip. We met in Munich, Germany last year during the Oktoberfest timeframe. Um, we've known each other a number of hours, not a number of days. Okay. Well, not very many hours. The number of beers we've consumed has exceeded the number of hours we've known each other. Okay. And he offers me a job and tries to hire me to come over to IGA.
Right there on the spot, huh?
Doesn't even know me 24 hours.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
And then my wife's like, do it.
Yeah, right, right. I love to hear his side of the story because there's something in you that he saw or recognized that he was like, this is my guy. These are my people." And that's what he said when we were talking on the phone. He was like, "You just get with some people and you're like, this is my tribe. This is my people." Like, you just know, like,
Wow.
at the end of the day, we're gonna figure it out. We'll work it out. We're cut from the same cloth, you know? And when you find those people, man, you hold on to them and you partner with them and you do that because at the end of the day, you know where you're gonna land, you know, and you have the shared values. It's huge.
That's right. Exactly.
So from
Sorry,
a
I may
for
have gotten sidetracked. I think you might have asked me another question and I got us
No, no,
sidetracked.
that's perfect. You nailed it. I was just thinking from a leadership standpoint, um, what have you observed here at IGA that's different from other firms that you've worked with or even that you've seen up close?
So I can only speak to the sales,
Okay,
side of the house, if you
that's
will.
fair.
The leadership on the sales side. So that would be specifically Jamie and James. Um, what I would say is um, where those guys look, a lot of people in leadership positions struggle to have the difficult conversations. And I'm not saying they like to do it, but they're both very good at it.
Mm,
And they're both very good coaches as well. And they're good at identifying the areas of opportunity, we'll call it,
mhm,
for folks and really drilling down on that and coaching them up and getting the best out of them. They also they're not going to ask you to do anything that they haven't already done or are willing to do.
mhm.
I mean, they'll get on there and do a cold call right in front of you. They're not afraid to do that, you know. And there's a lot of leaders that aren't willing to be vulnerable,
Right.
and because not every, nobody gets it perfect all the time,
True.
you know, and they're willing to get right down there with with anybody and do exactly what they're asking them to do, and
Yeah.
truly lead by example, not lead from an ivory tower.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the willingness to roll up your sleeves and kinda do the work and show by like you said, show by example to coach. I mean, that's one thing I've seen that the coaching aspect, the hands-on aspect that you get as especially, on sales as a producer, all those things, you really get a lot of care, a lot of coaching, a lot of like, "Hey, this is the best practices."
What you do, and the other thing, um, it might sound easy, but it's incredibly difficult to do, and they do it very well, is maintaining a sense of community with
Mm.
folks spread out everywhere. You interviewed um, Bowie and Parker and Zach. They're
Yep.
in 3 different states.
Yep.
Uh, you know, Livy's in yet another state, and the way they maintain communication with
Mhm.
folks really good too, and that's intentional.
Yeah.
You have to be intentional about that. And whether that's just by shooting a text, giving a phone call, they maintain that connection.
That's cool. Where do you work from? Are you here
Virginia,
you're in
Virginia,
Virginia?
so yet another state.
Wow. And you
Yeah,
still feel connected to the team and to the mission and the culture, all that kind of stuff.
absolutely.
That's amazing. Well, that takes a lot of that doesn't happen on accident. That takes
Not at all.
a lot of intentionality.
And it's harder than it sounds.
Oh, I'm sure the drift could be huge if you don't, well, and it's about hiring the right people too. To get the right people in that city. I mean, for certain people, it would probably be impossible. People that you have to really manage tightly and, but the kind of people that I feel like are attracted to IGA and vice versa are the ones that are self-starters, proactive, know what goals they need to hit and go after them and are accountable, all those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I mentioned earlier, we talked to some younger producers on the team about grit and hustle and belief. And so I'll call you a veteran, even though you're a young guy still, but from a vet standpoint, would you say IGA is the real deal when it comes to that stuff? It's easy to talk the talk, but are we walking the game as an organization from the young guys say one thing, but they haven't experienced what you've experienced.
No, they haven't, but 1,000%.
Okay.
1,000% IGA walks the walk.
Yeah.
Um, everyone I've interacted with here, they're bought in. It doesn't matter whether it's, the young salespeople, whether it's sales leadership, veteran salespeople that have been on board a while, whether it's your service team, claims department, marketing, bond team, like
Mhm.
everybody is going in the same direction,
Yeah.
and they're bought in to IGA, and they're gritty.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, let's zoom out a little bit and just talk sales team for a little bit because when it comes to building a successful sales team, what do you think most agencies miss when it comes to building that sales team?
Um, there's several things, but probably the number one thing is they tell themselves they're committed to it,
Mhm.
but they aren't. They're
Mhm.
not committed. They're not fully committed to what it takes to go out and hire and develop sales talent to propel the organization forward. It is a tremendous commitment of time, resources, and money to do it the right way. And most agency owners cannot stomach that full commitment.
Mm. Wow.
Um, because look, it's expensive just to go find the right people.
Sure.
They don't fall off trees in your
Right.
lap.
They've
There's a
got good
cost
jobs
to that.
already. They're working. They're at good companies. Yeah.
Exactly. So there is a cost to that. It's expensive to train them. You have
Mhm.
to invest in
Right.
that. There's just a plain old compensation standpoint.
Mhm.
And look, industry wide, the success rate is 35%.
Wow.
You know, now I think IJ is doing a little better than that.
Mhm.
Uh, but so you combine all those things, you got to be able to stomach it.
Sure.
And look, a lot of these guys, let's just call it what it is. They're fat and happy, and
Mhm.
you know, just kind of
Yeah.
sitting on it and letting the agency just sort of do its little thing and take their distributions. They don't want to change their lifestyle or take the financial risk that it takes to
Yeah.
really be fully committed.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's easy to get complacent in some of those things and just kinda sit back and yeah, it reminds me of something you said earlier. You said the word chaotic, and I wanted to go back to just some methodology things because you also talked about just how IJ does things a little bit different. Based on what you've seen in some of these larger organizations, how would you describe even just the sales methodology, and how does that compare? Is it more structured, more chaotic, something else? Like, how would you describe it? How is it different, I should say?
Yeah, and I don't want to get too into the secret sauce, if you will.
Yeah, okay, don't give
I
away
don't
the
want to tip off
secrets.
a competitor's thing. Um,
Fair enough.
yeah. Although I'm not sure they could execute it, but we're not going to chance it. Um, the It is not chaotic. I'll start there. The
Okay.
sales process, it is structured. There's a methodology to it, and it is the training is top notch on that process. And what's unique about it is it gets young producers. I mean, 3 guys you interviewed plus Livy, they have 0 insurance experience prior to IGA.
Mhm.
And I have never seen or heard of an agency getting producers trained in producing real revenue, like meaningful revenue figures so quickly.
Yeah.
And that's something the competitors that I'm aware of just have not been able to do and figure out. Um, Look, there's folks out there that have structured sales programs and sales training programs and very structured sales processes. Um, they're different than ours here at IGA, and I would say can't get people up and running as quickly.
Yeah. Man, to your point, when I interviewed the ones that are newer to the company, of course, they didn't share any specific numbers, but they just alluded to, like, "Man, we're really happy with where we're at right now being so young into this industry."
They're putting up numbers that would rival those of people that have been in the business 5, 10 years.
Wow. Wow, and that's just because of the training and the process and that kind of stuff kinda tees people up to win. If they obviously, they gotta bring their side of it, but if they bring it, they're equipped with what they need to succeed.
You have everything you need to be successful here.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, I won't press any more on that because I don't wanna give away the secret here, but the proof is in what you guys are doing. I mean, it's obviously working, the company's growing, and you found a recipe and something that you works for you guys and, works for us, and
absolutely.
it's we just keep rinse and repeat and keep getting better. I mean, it's not that we're just, not constantly improving, but, yeah, and I love that. I love that Jamie has kind of found what works, and he's, like, willing to just kinda double down, triple down
And
on that.
it's
It
repeatable. It's
it's repeatable.
repeatable. It's scalable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what has surprised you the most since joining IGA, since you've been around? I know it's only your 2nd gig, but, you're what has shocked you that you didn't see coming?
Probably what we were just talking about. That is what has surprised me the most.
Really?
Um, yes, the we'll just call it the IGA secret sauce. That is what has surprised me the most, and the ability to get new people productive as
Mhm.
quickly as we've been able to do it.
That's awesome. So if you're gonna describe, and this is great, man, by the way, this is awesome. Such helpful, um, information, especially if someone's looking to join the team. What we're trying to do, just very candidly, is give them the good, bad, and ugly of the IGA culture so they can self-select either in or out, based on what we're talking about. Yeah. But how would you describe this opportunity here to another experienced producer, someone who's been in a company maybe for a long time, or maybe several companies, but this is not their first rodeo, who might be, a little skeptical or a little hesitant to making a move?
Well, I would say to that individual, the first thing you need to do is have an honest conversation with yourself. Are you a producer or are you babysitting a book?
Mm,
Babysitting a book, forget about it. This place is not for you. If you're a producer, if you love prospecting, if you love to chase, you love the win, if that fires you up to get up every morning and go out there and kick ass,
mhm.
this place is for you. If you can take hard coaching, this is for you. If you can't take hard coaching, forget about it. I mean, they're not going to pussyfoot around anything with you. You
Right.
gotta have grit.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and if you want to be able to bring real value to your client, be a value added third party resource to them, just like their attorney or their CPA or their lawyer. If you really want to be able to help them grow their business, this is a place for you.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the sky is the limit. You can grow your book as big as you want here. You have all the support you need, but at the end of the day, it's on you.
Mhm.
Are you willing to put in the work and do what it takes to go make it happen?
Paul, it's killer. Man, that's it. That's all I got, man. You crushed it. That's awesome. Thank you for the work that you do, and thank you for sharing your wisdom and your advice. One more time, because I forget, what'd you call Jamie? Just one more time?
a highly functional fucking lunatic.
We'll close on that note. Paul, thanks
Um,
so much, man.
well, hold on, before you
Ok
know him. Is it right or is it right?
I don't know that there's a more perfect description. I don't know, I mean,
Exactly.
I think you nailed it, and honestly, when he told me that the first time, it was like he was like, "I don't know that I've ever felt more known and more seen by anybody in my life." It was like a badge of honor for him. We need to make up some merch, some swag, or some hats for him
Yeah.
that says that. That's his new tagline.
Well, get some hats, HFF.
Yeah, that's that
Oh,
in the degenerates. Those are the people that
yeah,
follow him around.
yeah.
I love it. Paul, thanks, man. This was awesome.
Hey, thanks, man. Take care.
Well, thanks for joining us on the Grit Factor podcast. We hope you're leaving inspired, equipped, and ready to embrace the grit values in your own life and career. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who's ready to level up their leadership. And if you're interested in learning more about the culture and opportunities at the Insurance Group of America, visit us at iga.biz/careers. Remember, success isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about facing them with grit. Until next time, stay bold, stay resilient, and keep pursuing excellence.